Hi there, William Drescher. I'm an art director and virtual set developer, motion designer based here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I moved here about a year and a half ago to live with my girlfriend, and it's been a great move. Love her, love the city. But before that, I worked at New York City as an art director and virtual set developer for many of the major news broadcasts that you've probably seen. ABC World News Tonight with David Muir. Did some work for them for a couple of years. Worked for Tom Brokaw at NBC Nightly News. Even worked for Dan Rather at CBS Evening News back in the day. But these days, I'm working here in Albuquerque, and I'm trying to do more design work and more consulting and that kind of work. And so today I was working with a client back east. And at the end of which she said to me, this thing you're doing where you're in the screen and you're talking to us and we're seeing the interface and you're showing us graphics and you're actually working with us, it's like you're actually here in the office. And this is great. Can you explain to us how you're doing that? Can you make a demo? So this is for them, but I figured I might as well make a demo for everybody. So I'm going to talk really quickly about the technology I'm using, as well as technology I could be using, and a little bit about the design and the sense of that stuff. And especially as times are changing, it's become a new space now. So one of the things I wanted to start with is the fact that, COVID's everywhere. The COVID-19 virus is flying around. I don't want to leave the space too much. I want to work with people directly and be able to work with that space. So everybody is using Zoom and Google Meet and Skype, so am I. But I want to show you how I'm doing a little bit differently. So let my friends float around their background. I built a brand new computer box, a brand new graphics machine, very high end, probably the biggest box and highest end box I've ever owned in my life. It's amazing to me how much cheaper they are than they used to be. If you were to build these systems for a broadcaster, yes, they'd have tracking cameras and a lot of higher end equipment. They'd be between $250,000 and $500,000 to build, like the room I worked at ABC World News. But I wanted to go a lot cheaper, but I wanted to spend the money on the graphics box because that's what I like doing. So first thing we're going to talk about is the setup that I've got. I'll turn my little friends off here for a minute so they can just disappear. Those, by the way, were not animated clips. Those are being rendered in real time on the system as I'm talking to you, processed in real time using the thread ripper that I've got. But I'll get there in a minute. The virtual set I'm sitting in the beginning was built for a class that I was going to asked to give a lecture to in San Francisco remotely. So I brought this little virtual set to build it, and I built it in Cinema 4D. It does work in Unreal Game Engine. I ported it to the Zero Density and the Pixiotope software. I've used the Vizrt system as well, ported it over to ROS Video Xpression, RT Software, Chiron, Avid, you name it, it all works fine in that. But for this system, I'm going to use OBS, Open Broadcast System. It's a free piece of software that has a lot of development going through it. I'm really enjoying working with it and seeing how far I can push it. And I want to talk really quickly about what that is. So one of the things that I did when I talked to the kids, they said, "Hey, can you change your background on the fly?" I said, "Sure, I can click on this button and go to a different background and dissolve in what's more traditionally like a Duratrain you might see in the news, something that's a bluish color. People look better in blue. A night shot of Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's about 11:15 at night here. I'm working on this quick demo for you guys." I was watching Bill Maher the other night, and I watched a guy talk to the camera like this. And he's talking to Bill and he's doing this and Bill's listening, he's listening back. And I realized, okay, first off, his laptop's on the desk, he's looking down at it. And secondly, the camera's like off to the side somewhere, so he's not looking at the camera. He doesn't realize, then he'd look, let me look at you like this. So I solved that problem a long time ago by using something called a beam splitter and using a keyable system. Now, kids ask me, well, you've got a green screen. I said, yeah, I do, I've got a green screen. It's in the closet. Right now I'm using something called NVIDIA's broadcast software. If I turn it off, there's my office as it is right now. And a beam splitter. The beam splitter allows me to look directly at the screen, see you, and you're seeing me actually in the reflection of a camera through a one-way mirror. Get to that in a minute. Oops, bump the mic to go from that. But the simplest thing is I don't need a green screen behind me. I can have anything I want. So if I turn it back on again, like that, I'm keyed out. It's not the best keyer in the world. There's a little artifacts around the outside of me. But for working with a client and the processing power, it's great. Works really super. Now, looks like I'm in a Duratran. I'm not. I'm actually in the set we were just in. I'm going to go back even further. Here I am way in the back of one of these 5 monitors. They're all made of glass. They're all changeable. I can change the background out and change something else. If you look in the bottom, I'm actually reflected. I can get a little closer to you and show you that in a demo for these kids, typically, this is called a 3 box. I can light things up. In the right box is my website. I can scrub through it, and in real time, let me go back to the portfolio. I can go to it in real time. I can actually play you something. You'll hear everything, including the music. I'll turn the music down. Arkady Schlotterklopper. He's a horn player from Russia. Love his work. Anyway, so that's going to play a clip on the left monitor. That's actually coming down from the web, from the internet. I'm not playing that off my own box. I'm streaming that in through my Wi-Fi system. If I want to show you to my left monitor, it should be my monitor over my shoulder. Oh, I forgot. I'll change that. That's Troubles. That's my Chesapeake Bay Retriever. He's asleep underneath the desk. Let me see if I can fix that really quickly. Click here, and there you go. Now you're seeing me my over-the-shoulder monitor. It's a little iPhone in the back that's running NDI, so you can pipe it into. I can get closer so you can see a little bit more of it, put myself in a 2-box, me talking to you directly through my beam splitter. That's this box right here that you can see around me. It allows me to look directly at you and see you in the middle of the screen, and you see me through a reflection of the monitor space back. My compositing monitor, here I'll go a little closer for you as well. Here's my compositing monitor. Here's my secondary output monitor. And I'm running a laptop occasionally to run secondary Zoom meetings. And in the background, thank you, Jeff Kravicki. Jeff convinced me to go to PC Parts Picker and build my own computer from scratch. Really glad I did. Got exactly what I wanted. I can even show you a little more about what that looks like for a moment, because this is kind of the heart of my system. There she is, looking down from a DSLR above me here. Those lights are cool, but they actually have a purpose. They are showing me the temperature and cores of my hard drives and my GPU system. The way this thing works right now, there are a water-cooled CPU, 24-core Threadripper, 512 gigs of RAM, 2 NVIDIA cards, 5 different drive spaces for RAIDs, plus 2 M2 drives. And the reason she's red right now, she's telling me that she's running about medium temperature and that the core is running plenty fine for the CPU. So I've got a lot of processing power left. I'm still doing a lot for it. So that ability to work with the system, see you and actually see what's going on with the amount of power that I'm putting through the system really can kind of help. But this interface was designed for the kids to talk about broadcast design and set design. Not, high-end stuff, but something that you could work with for own, and actually I was going to make them a version they could use for themselves. But when I work with a client, I start here, talking to them with this little side monitor. I call it monitor 4. In the corner, you see the output of my graphics monitor again. Again, I can scroll through this, play things. If I want to play, a virtual set up like something like this. This was built for ABC a while back here. These are the different versions of the set that they have for different pieces that were there. I'll come back out of that one. That one's hard to see. Here, this is for Pete Carroll. Something we did for the Pete Carroll show. Play that back. I can talk about these pieces and stop it. Talk about the 3D. Still not big enough that you can see it, so I can go even bigger. Now I'm small in the corner and you're seeing it flat onto you, so I can keep playing it through, talk about the way we animated, chase, what was going to be there, what kinds of videos you could do. These were all templated graphics that were done for a broadcast design. If I come back out of it, we go back to the website. But I'm going to go back to my 2 COVID guys, because the first thing we did is this client I was working with said, well, let's build a COVID molecule for the story that we're going to do. So I took them first into my 3D program called Cinema 4D that I do most of my development with. And I built this animation just to be able to play, basic, here we go, let me make it full screen, one-on-one like this. One of the things that came up in the conversation is, can we change the color of the stems? I said, sure. You want green stems? Hang on. There, now you got green stems. This is a low-res render, but just to show you how fast this box is, I love it. If I do this, that's real-time with ray tracing and ambient occlusion and global illumination turned on, just bloody quick. And then I can play it again. When we got to the point we were here, they said, well, Dresh, I really think it should be red. And I said, okay, I'll make it red for you. That's a piece of cake, good. And then there was, well, we want less of the little stems on it. So I turned some of the stems off. And they said, well, but now when we stop, we've got some holes. So I took some of the stems and I just moved them to a place where they were a little more filling the holes and tweaked around until I kind of got something that I liked, like that, and said, let's render that just to show you what the visual would look like. They were like, perfect, we like that, that's great, let's move forward. So then I went into After Effects. Where is she? Running here. And, you know, you can see it kind of. I can make it bigger. I can scale it up as big as I want and play around with it. This is now rendering in real time because the processor is so fast, and it's been RAM previewing in the back. So you've got these two. And then we started talking about the color. And I said, why do you want it red? I said, what do you mean? I said, well, you know, you're making the one piece. Let's duplicate this for a second. Turn these off. You know, we're taking this guy and we've made him bright red. And they said, yeah. I said, well, because it's red. And I went, no, it's not. The only reason it's red is because news agencies, which I've worked for in the past, love red. Red's important. Red's breaking news. Let's make it red. It's dangerous. It's not. There's never been, as far as I can find, nobody's ever taken a photograph of the virus itself except through an electron microscope. So I said, how about we do a design that looks more like an electron microscope? So instead of that, we turn all that off, and we said, how about this, and this? And again, in real time. Now that one's a little more purple than I wanted her to be. That's because we changed some things in it. There. So we're going to let this render back out in real time. Just a little quick to do it. Hang on. I hit the wrong button. There we go. Now she's rendering out in quick time. And I added a little bit of flicker. And this is great, but they still can't see it full screen because I'm in the way and the interface is in the way. So I have the way of showing somebody After Effects' output through NDI clean. No interface, no me, no nothing, just what it looks like. And we can play around without rendering, just letting it play pretty much. Do it one more time, sort of real time, to get a sense of what that's going to look like. So they love this. This is great. This is where they want to go super. I said, you like this idea? Super. We'll come back and talk to you about it in the interface. That's what we wanted to do. And if I go back to my little web scene here, it's there now behind me because it's not keyed. I was keying it before. So instead, I'm going to use this one just to finish up here as I talk to you. Wipe it away. And, you know, that's the way I work. If you're interested in working with me directly, my interface is always open. I can show you full screens. We can color correct things. We can talk about it, work in real time. You can go away and come back. I'll still be here. We can close the Zoom. I like working with people in a collaborative way, and that requires that kind of stuff to happen here direct. So if you're interested in getting in touch with me, the best way to do that is to go to williamdrescher.com. That's the website, and you'll see there's a contact informational form, as well as all sorts of other work to there. Again, you know, we're based here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, so the time difference might be there if we're having some issues like that. But for the most part, I want to do some work for people who want to do OBS work, who want to do Zoom, Google Meet kind of things. If you're interested in motion design or broadcast work, got a lot of experience there. And if you're interested in having somebody art direct or develop a team, coach them, love to do that as well. It's one of my favorite things to do. But go to williamdrescher.com and get a hold of me. In the meantime, stay safe, wear a mask. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.